coach, and I originally came from a little town in Connecticut called Niantic. Specifically, a little spot in Niantic called Black Point. Some people are familiar with Black Point. It was the original white colony in Connecticut, 1619.
Whoa.
I graduated with one of Josiah McElhaney's great-great-great-great-granddaughters. It's a pretty affluent place. My father was in the military, retired well. We weren't the first black family to move there, but we were the first black family that didn't get chased away from elitism.
Wow.
My father still lives there. My mother passed away, my father still has that house. 15 minutes from Long Island Sound. I graduated from one of the best high schools. My graduation trip was a 3-week trip to Europe with the Connecticut Ambassadors of Music.
Holy moly.
I wanted to go into ministry, and I came out here to go to Bible college, and what I didn't know was that I was moving to an extremely racist environment here in Fort Wayne. The history of the Klan in Fort Wayne is long-standing and still firmly entrenched.
Really? I had heard that was true in the southern
No.
but it's true here.
Indiana, when the South broke apart,
Yeah.
many disgruntled Southerners moved here. In the 30s and 40s in Indiana, you couldn't get elected street sweeper without signing your allegiance to the Klan, to the Grand Dragon of the Indiana Klan. And so he sold it as a God-fearing Christian thing to do, to protect yourself from all of those scary people. And so there are so many people active in churches who are absolute hardcore. Yeah.
Wow.
And I still run into them.
Really?
Yes, you do.
I still run into them. I remember standing in a fabric store a few years ago, waiting to have my fabric cut for a project. And there was an older white woman behind me, and the clerk came up, and she knew I'd been waiting. And the woman just cannot believe that I have to wait for the likes of her. And I didn't say anything, and I looked at the clerk, and my daughter said, I said, no, I've got this, it's okay. And the clerk said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but she really was here first. Well, the woman walked up and told the manager something, who came in and immediately got in my face, that I was creating this ruckus. The clerk got sent home.
Yeah.
And the manager cut this woman's fabric first and made me. I sent a message to corporate. But that is life here. Who I am offends them on a profound and deep level, and I take quite glee in that. Nevertheless,
I call it Holy Spirit mischief.
Yes,
Holy Spirit mischief.
One last thing before Jen talks is, I made a note here. Both of you are lawyers, yes?
Yeah.
One of the things that derailed my financial stability, I was working sales.
Yeah.
I said, Jesus, I need to make money to provide for my kids. If you will give me a job, I will do my best for you, and I will represent you well. And I walked into a furniture store and got hired. And I did not know that the 9 months I worked there, I was the top salesperson. But I was the only black. And so what they decided to do was to conspire, and I would make a deal to, okay, you've looked at this, go home, take measurements, color samples. I'm working next on Thursday. I'll be here. Okay, so I would go back to sign up for the next client. They would intercept my customer. She forgot that she's not working Thursday. She'll be here Friday, okay? Whoever writes the sale
Gets the commission.
And they don't, in Indiana, you cannot take your copies of your sales home. So you don't have any documentation that you worked with that client. And you don't get paid until the furniture gets delivered. So one job, they waited until my last day at work, and they took me out to lunch and told me that they really were going to miss me because they had stolen $70,000 from me and my children.
They told you?
To my face. I did not know at that time, young 19, fully disillusioned about, I did not know that I was bipolar. I did not know that I had ADHD. 4 times I've attempted college. Okay, I passed the Mensa test. 4 times I attempted college, and it triggered a
Sure,
bipolar cycle,
they-
so
It sets up the anxiety and you get going.
yeah, so by the time, I passed the midterm with the highest grade, by a week before finals, I can't get out of bed and come to class.
Leila,
So-
that is, ugh.
So, married, 4 kids, you know, it's really rough when who you are inside
Yes.
is not cut out to be a CNA, is not cut out to be any of the things that they tell you can go to school for when you have benefits.
Yep, yep, wow.
So, how do you move forward when the cookie cutter has no room for you? How? You don't. You live in poverty.
Holy moly.
You live in poverty. It's very frustrating. It's very demoralizing because I'm not the only person who goes through this, black or white. So when you can't get competent health care and you can't get assessment and treatment because they look at you and they go, you know, it's almost like a rap sheet. Yeah, I know where you are financially. You want a free ride, you don't want to try.
And all the judgment
Yes,
that
all
goes
the
into
judgment.
that.
And I
Wow.
was, you know, I was married for 16 years. I was the stay-at-home homeschooling Christian mommy. We only played Christian radio in the house, and we knew Bible verses and all of this. And then when my marriage fell apart, that was the same year that the only time the Democrats and the Republicans came together was to screw over single mothers in the Welfare Act.
Oh,
And I remember,
96.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, I remember that. We
Oh.
fought against it, but.
We were so, what that meant was that this family that was already traumatized
Yeah,
was now vulnerable
yeah.
to all the predators out there.
Whoa.
You know, you can't get all the resources you need all the time, so you're forced to leave work a second shift job, leave your kids at home. They're recruited by gangs, they're sexual predators
Lured by
coming out of the
men.
woodwork, yes.
Lured by men.
Yes.
Grown men.
And so it's not helping.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's helping people who don't want to feel that they're being taken advantage of. It's helping them feel safe. You know, the policymakers, it's helping them feel safe and secure. But it's not
real.
helping the families it's designed to help.
No.
My daughter, 3 years into college, got married, had kids. He was in the military, came back from Afghanistan with severe PTSD. Their marriage didn't last. So there she is, 2 little kids. I had the car. We stayed in one household. The car died. She couldn't get to the job that paid the bills. She was reduced to bus and walking. 25-degree below weather. My baby's walking to and from work. We couldn't keep up.
No one could keep up.
We ended up in one shelter and then we finally came here. But I gotta say, as hard as it is, God had our backs. He is faithful, He
Amen.
is able.
Amen. Amen.
And it is organizations like this
Yes. Yes.
that, because it requires accountability,
Yeah.
because it provides opportunity, you get your sense of self back.
Yes.
I used to teach my kids that work, God gave Adam a job before the fall. Work is not a curse. Work is a blessing. Work is a blessing.
Yeah,
God
that's
knows how
great.
good it feels to look at something and go, yeah, I worked that. Work is a blessing. So we don't run from it,
Yeah.
but we gotta be who we're created to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
We gotta be who we're created to be. And